Hi there, welcome to the Player YouTube channel, where we don't just do car reviews, we do tons of other stuff as well. You ready? Run the VT. This is how a car should sound. Listen to this.
I didn't really push it either. I was just having a bit of fun.
Oh really? Wheel spring?
Outside, sure. Here we go. We're going to meet the crew and hopefully get the same.
I think it makes a good work.
We're going, mate. Nice to see you.
Show us your big chopper, your helicopter. So here we are, the Morgan Roadster. Guys, guess what? It's another morning here out in sunny France. I'd love to have been a fly on the wall at Hyundai when the team that were tasked with producing the latest hot hatch were given the description and the goal that they had to achieve. Can you imagine going up against the likes of VW, Toyota and even Honda, and not just going up against them, bettering them? This is the i30N Performance. It's something a bit special. Let's check it out. So you probably heard as I pulled away then, this car isn't any standard i30, that's for sure. But that also reflects in its price. If you want a standard i30, you can buy one from 21,000 UK pounds, which is a great value price for that car. However, if you want one of these with a manual gearbox, then you're talking from 34,000 pounds. And if you want the auto gearbox, you're going to be adding an extra 2,000 to that. We're talking 36,000 UK pounds. However, this car is not only highly entertaining and, in my opinion, 3 cars in one, making it more value for money, you will also get all of the standard stuff with this car that you would be paying extra for a different trim level on a standard i30. So it makes kind of makes sense in a way, and in the other way, you know, it's whether you weigh this up as a good family car. When I say this is 3 in 1, what I actually mean is this car is 3 cars in 1. You've got the hot hatchback, which is fantastic, as you can hear. It's lovely, it's bouncy, it throws you around. When you're on your own, it's the perfect car, I feel, anyway. Then you've got the family aspect to this car. You've got the size, you've got the practicality, and then finally, you've got the option of having this as a track day car as well. So you've got those 3 different things that this car excels in each department, which I'm pleasantly pleased to say I feel is well worth £34,000. There are a couple of bits extra that you will have to pay for. If you want these N-Light seats that I'm currently sitting in at the moment, they are extra. However, I think they're so worth it. They're half leather, half Alcantara, and you've got a light up N little badge in the middle there, which is absolutely lovely at night. It really does sort of set the whole seat off, and they are superbly comfortable. In addition, they're 2 kilograms lighter than the standard sports seats that you get with this car. The other thing which I love about this car is the colour. It is extra, but I love it. I've affectionately named it Golf Blue because of the Golf racing colours. I think it's very, very similar. I would definitely have a car in this colour. I think it is absolutely beautiful. One thing that I think that I can say positively about this car is you're going to get your bang for your buck when it comes to your bits and pieces. Safety aids, for example, you've got blind spot mirrors, you've got adaptive cruise control, distance control, lane departure warning, autonomous braking in town, you've got accident avoidance collision warning. I mean, the list just goes on and on. You have a speed limiter with sign recognition as well. You can set all that up. It's so easy to do here on the right hand side. And then you've got your nice little bits like your DAB radio, your Apple wireless and all that. It's just all there. It's lovely. So that family element is still there, as well as having the practicality element as well. Finally, and just to, you know, to throw insult to injury, so to speak, when it comes to buying a standard i30, this car again comes with beepers front and rear and a reverse camera, so it just tops it off. I think, yeah, value for money, you can't go wrong. So not only is this car completely different to drive, it also looks completely different too. It's nothing like an i30. For instance, this aggressive, sporty front grille here, totally different. You've got this red stripe that runs along the bottom like a little pinstripe there. Really, really nice. Got some different headlights on here as well. Loving all that. And everywhere you go around this car, you're going to find little N badges dictating the N performance line. Car comes standard with 19-inch alloys, some huge red brake calipers in there as well, which encompass a 360mm brake disc at the front and a 340 at the back. Again, you've got the red brake disc at the back there. You've got these side skirts down here as well, and all in this lovely sort of powder baby blue colour, which I really love. There's 6 colours available. The standard colours, which you don't have to pay any extra for, are red and black, and they do look nice. They're solid red and black, but the metallics and this particular colour as well, they're an extra £585. But if you like white, you can get that one for £300 extra. But all in, what a beautiful looking car. It's stunning. It's sitting 8mm lower than a standard i30 as well, and that really does make the difference. So one of the only things that the i30N Performance has in common with an i30 is where the bonnet release catch is, which is down here in the driver's footwell. It's a single pull, nice and easy. Don't forget, if you're driving a left-hand drive, it's going to be in the passenger footwell because they're not going to swap it around. Costs too much money, takes too much time. The actual catch itself for the bonnet is right in the middle there. Just pull it to the left, no gas struts, give it a good push. It's quite heavy. One thing I did realise rather rapidly, when you've been ragging this around a little bit, it gets very, very hot under it. Trust me, I can feel the heat coming up, which also makes the bonnet stay very, very hot as well. Hyundai have put a nice little piece of rubber on this one, which means you can keep the ends of your fingers. In a previous take, I lost the ends of my fingers because I tried to, it's actually really hot. You have to be careful. That's probably why they did that. We have a 2-litre 4-cylinder petrol engine under here, which is linked up to a limited slip diff that's attached to the front axle. The whole thing is just beautiful. It develops around about 280 brake horsepower with about 397 newton meters of torque. It's absolutely incredible. It just wants to get out of here, and it's all sort of strapped down with different braces and struts and everything just to keep it in position. If you go for the manual 6-speed gearbox, the short throw manual 6-speed, simply beautiful. It will give you a 0 to 60 time of around about 5.7 seconds, which is pretty good. However, if you go for the 8-speed DSG auto gearbox version, you will get a 0 to 60 time of around about 5.4 seconds. But I've got to say, I much prefer the short throw manual gearbox. That's the one to go for, in my opinion. But all in all, what a lovely little unit. Right, let's check out round the back. And before I get inside and show you in the boot and all that, and yeah, the boring bit with the luggage and the dogs and the bikes, just look at that. That's how a hot hatch should look, isn't it? Don't you agree with me? That is beautifully designed. Little things, you know, like, see that little crease in the side there? How nice is that? It just sort of adds to, and when you look down the side there, the whole car just has a beautiful shape to it. I love the privacy glass all the way around the back here. I love the rear screen, the way it's a floaty screen. It's got no rubbers on there. Look, it's pin sharp all the way around. Stops any of that, you know, sort of horrible rusty bits that you used to get when you had rubbers in there where the water sat in there. It just makes it look much smarter as well. And then look at that roof spoiler. Now that's a roof spoiler. That's not an add-on. That's actually been designed for this car, including the little tail light in the middle. Stop tail light there on the back there. How beautiful is that? What an F1 inspired little injection of juice into the car that is. I think that's gorgeous. You've got a wash wipe on the back here, keeps that rear screen nice and clean when it gets dirty. You've got the LED split lights either side here, big i30N badge, N again, all over the place as you expect. And then the crowning glory of this sort of diffuser style bumper down the bottom here that runs all the way across, encompassing those two massive great exhausts. And trust me, well, you heard, they just pop and bang, and just the whole thing. That is what I call a hot hatchback. Okay, now for the boring bit, but the practical bit, the bit that, you know, you got to sell it to the other half, because at the end of the day, it's still a family car. Let me prove it. I'm going to show you, and then you can use it as proof when you buy one of these as your family car. First up, it doesn't have an electronically assisted tail lift. You weren't expecting that anyway. What's the point? It's just extra weight and loads of extra money. Has some decent gas struts, and it just pops up so nicely as well. One thing you do get is the inevitable parcel shelf. What do we need these things for? We don't, especially when you take them out and we can't, you know, if you're out on the road, so to speak, and you're taking them out because you've got to get a bike in here or a couple of prams or a number of suitcases, there's nowhere for this to go in this particular car. I suppose you could put it upside down in here like that if you wanted to, but at the end of the day, anything that you put on top of it is going to crack it or break it, and it'll just make it look horrible. So basically, when you buy one of these, I would take this out, I would put it in your garage or in the house, hide it somewhere up in the attic or whatever, get rid of it. Because now, as you can see, you've got 381 litres of boot space. That's big. That's very big for a little car like this. It will get, you know, the equivalent of around about 6 or 7 large suitcases in the back here. And one good thing is you've got a huge height here as well, because it's quite a drop where it drops in. One little drawback, but it's easily rectified, guys. You know, use your noddle here, as we say. Very, very, you know, these are going to get scratched and they're going to look terrible after a few months, especially if, you know, the other half's been lifting the pushchairs in and out of here, or the dogs have been jumping up here. Get yourself some sticky back plastic clear and just put it over there, and then you can change it every few months when it gets a bit rough or dirty. Just peel it off and go and get another bit. It's about, you know, a single UK pound for a sheet. It's so easy. Either that, or you can invest in the real thing and change this panel completely and have, you know, aluminium at the back if you want to. But personally, get a bit of plastic, cover it up, it's fine. Inside here, there is another option to what we've got. Underneath here, in this particular car, we have the stupid latex, I'm going to throw it in a minute, and the pump. Absolutely useless. Throw them away. Get yourself a space saver wheel in here. They're not expensive. They go in here. You don't need that rubbish. It doesn't work and it ruins the tyre. So once you pump that in, you can't get the tyre repaired. So just be warned. Complete waste of space. But it's there. Another thing you're going to notice, there's a strut in here as well, a rear strut that runs. That is essential in this car. You can unbolt it if you really, really need to. So if it was a journey or a large, you know, you're on a journey, you've got to put something large in here to transport it, you can unbolt that. But I wouldn't suggest it. Leave it in there. It's there for a reason. Keeps this car nice and stable and sturdy when it's out on the road, especially if you're ragging it round the back roads. And it's really going to help keep that back end in check. Now, a little bit more of the boring bit. We've got a 60-40 split on this, and very easy to get to. You can, again, you know, great selling point here. That's your right-hand seat, and again, easy to move your left-hand seat down. You've now got 1,287 litres of boot space. That's huge. You're going to get anything here. You get, you know, say you've got to change the washing machine or whatever, get your mate to help you lift it in here. It's going to take that. You'll get an old mattress in here, whatever you want. It's practical is where I'm going with this. And not only is it practical for big things like that, it's practical for shopping. It's got shopping bag holders, one either side as well. You've got a 12-volt adapter in here for blowing up dinghies and things like that that you might have. All in all, though, guys, this is probably one of the most practical, versatile family cars I've ever come across. Right, before I jump in the back and show you what it's like for the passengers, first up, remember, this is a standard i30 at the end of the day. It's just got an M Performance kit on it, and it's got a slightly uprated engine and the rest of it. But the standard car itself was always fantastic when it came to the family bits and pieces. So you're not really going to go wrong. Look at this door, for example. Look at the angle that it opens out to. It makes actually putting a baby seat in here or helping out, you know, elderly mum or dad getting in and out so much easier. It's really nice. And the size of this window, which goes all the way down. Anyone with car sickness, you know, suffers from that horrible car sickness. this is going to really stop that happening. And again, you've got privacy glass in here as well. Let me just jump in and show you how good it is in here, because first up, the one big difference is you get these beautiful thin sports seats in here, and that gives you even more legroom in the back. I mean, look at that. I can get my feet right underneath. It's going to be super comfortable on long journeys. Absolutely perfect. And also, look at the size and the shape of these seats. Beautiful at the end of the day. Covered in Alcantara and leather. Kids going to spill sweets or ice creams or jellies or anything like that. It's going to wipe so simply off of this. It's perfect, absolutely perfect. I love the sprung-loaded Isofix points in here. Again, they can't be pulled out, chewed, taken, lost or dropped or whatever, or you know, broken. They're going to stay where they are, do their job, which is making that finish really nice across there. You've got recessed seat belts. That makes sliding across. So if you've got to put a third passenger in the middle here, not going to get caught in your jeans or in your skirt or something like that. Low transmission tunnel, and it's just, well, you know, it's not exactly the most comfortable seating position, but you will get an hour, maybe an hour and a half back from a pub or a restaurant if you've got to give someone a lift. But it's there, it's an option. So you can get 3 adults across there. Once you've got your seats in, you could get, you know, 2 seats and a nanny maybe in there as well. It's just plenty of room in here. I wasn't expecting that. But then when I thought, you know, well, at the end of the day, it is an i30, so it's going to have a lot of room in it because it's a good practical family car. Okay, the first letdown of the whole car. The first letdown. No USB points to charge your bits and pieces up with. That is, Hyundai, come on, that's poor. That's really poor. And no separate heating controls or even air. At least put some air vents in the back here. That's appalling. There's no air vents up the side here or in the back. You know, this is, you know, a car that's over £30,000. I'd expect a couple of USBs and an air vent in here. That's my little bugbear with this car. But overall, so far, that's the only thing I've found that really sort of, you know, drops it. In the centre here, forgot to mention, get a nice leather armrest and you get a double cup holder as well. Get your fizzy drinks in there, get your coffees in there, whatever. But all in all, you know, this car is properly geared up as a family car at the end of the day. So here we are up front in the i30N Performance, and just look at this car, isn't it? Look at the way it is just literally all designed to be handled by the driver. To everything is touchy, it's neary, it's feely. Love it, and I love these seats. Oh, the seats are so comfy. You can get your steering wheel in almost any position, no matter how tall or short you are. Look at that, loads and loads of adjustment. I'm going to put it right down like that and push it right back because that's how I like it. Seat-wise, manual adjustment on the seat. It's a pump action on the side there, and then you can just literally lift the lever and move it forward and backwards. But ultimately, just a beautiful seating position. Aluminium pedals as well, guys. I mean, I've got the manual version. You've probably seen that 6-speed short throw manual. There's, you know, got those aluminium pedals down. Just set it off really nicely. Okay, let's start from the right and work our way through. I'm going to go through it really quick so it doesn't become boring, but there are some really nice bits and pieces. First up, you're going to notice I've got the key in my hand. Keyless entry, keyless ignition. Don't forget keyless to turn on the manual to get the engine running. It's foot right down on the clutch, and then you can push the stop start button. If it's the auto, it's just straight on the brake, but you knew that anyway. Don't need me to tell you that. Okay, right hand side here, you've got your auto stall button on here as well, so you can change that by, you know, when you're in traffic and it keeps stopping and then it restarts. It can get really annoying sometimes. If you want to turn that off, that button's just over there next to the luminosity button. You can move your luminosity. You can change that on your, you know, basically around the entire cockpit. It's really nice. I personally love this car at night. I've got it at the full luminosity. It just looks so nice. But if you need to turn it down, it's there. Also, there is a headlight adjustment button. When I mean adjustment, up and down. So if you're out in the country, need a little bit more beam, you can adjust up there. And likewise, if you're in town and it's dazzling everybody, you can drop that beam down by moving that button there. So it has really handy little bits and pieces over there. Let's move swiftly on to the steering wheel itself. Now, it's a sports steering wheel, leather clad. Oh yes, we love a leather clad steering wheel. Got the big N badge on there as well. Love that. I'm going to go through all these bits and pieces, the driver amenities as I call them, your cruise controls, your lane keepers and all that. I'll do that afterwards, but it's on the right there. Let's actually get the car sparks up. We're not going to fire it up, so I'm going to push that twice and it'll beep for a second because the doors are open. It hates that. Looking over here on the right hand side, this does control your semi-digital cluster. So you've got a button on the top left there, and that is your scroll button through your different menu items, anything from tyre pressures through to your current economy. You've got a compass on there, loads of bits and pieces. Once you find a segment you want, then you can move up and down using the button below it. So, and then it will go into where, you know, speedo on there. I've got the overall consumption, stuff like that, and you can move across, as I say, using the top button. I will tell you about that because it's not worth doing while we're driving along. You do get, as I said, semi-digital, because that is the only digital piece in that cluster. It's a 4.2-inch cluster. It's a really nice size. Either side is analog. I love that. I much prefer it when it's mixed up. I don't like an all digital cluster. I love having the analog in there. You've got a really nice setup with the speedo there and the digitac meter on the left hand side. You've got your petrol indicators within the speedo. It's just all nicely done. Very old school, really, you know, sort of old styly old school, but with a modern twist on it. Ooh, there you go. Listen to me. Left hand side are your media controls, i.e. your telephone function. You can stop and start a call on there. Got your volume on there. You've got your Ask Hyundai button, so you can push that and go, Hyundai, I need a sandwich, or I'm running out of petrol, help, and it'll, you know, come up there and hopefully direct you or whatever you need it to do. There's a mode button on there, and that means you can simply change between, say, DAB radio, Bluetooth, or go into your wireless menu using your Apple Play, which brings me on nicely to the fact that this car does have Android mirroring, and it also has wireless Apple Play. Up the front here, you've got a wireless charger. That I really love, because you're forever, when you're out on the road, you know, you always forget your lightning cable or whatever you call it, and then having a wireless charger, fantastic. Just drop your phone in there and puts it on charge. One thing I was a little bit confused about, really, you've got two 12-volt adapters in here and one USB. Surely it should have been the other way round. Maybe someone put the order up the wrong way when they designed that, because I'd have had two USBs and a 12-volt in the middle. But hey ho, you know, it's still there, and you can buy an adapter if you want to. But I suppose if you've got the wireless in there, you don't need the adapter, and blah blah blah. You get where I'm going with that. Okay, just above that, we've got our aircon controls. Again, this is so lovely, guys. Look, you've got a couple of knobs. You know, I love a knob. Oh, look, there's a few knobs here. Can't beat a knob. And what I mean is, when you can't beat a knob, you get in this car in the winter. You got your gloves on, or it's pouring with rain, yeah. And now it's all, there's no knobs, it's all touch screen and touchy-feely. You're basically, you're screwed, because your hands are wet or you're freezing. You've got to take your gloves off, and with a knob you can turn the heating up and down easy. Then these lovely buttons down here, they are actually proper buttons, not haptics. None of these are haptic. Hate haptics. Haptics are horrible. There you go. Basically, haptics, you're always forever touching them and things are happening, whereas a button is a button. You've got to push it to make it work. So I love buttons. There you go. So we've got full aircon in this car. You would expect that anyway. You've got a lovely 10.25-inch TFT touchscreen. I'm just going to go into the setup now. So you've got all the bits and pieces you're ever going to need on here. You've got wonderful things like lap timers, acceleration timers. We're going to do that again out on the road, and I'm going to show you those because they are simply phenomenal. It's really great fun in this car. You've even got a G-force meter as a G-force meter. Let's move on to more sort of simplified things. We do have a tiny little cubby. I keep my mixed nuts in there. I love my mixed nuts. And my sunglasses. That's about it. You would get a phone in there if you wanted to, but then you'd probably have it on charge over there anyway. Double cup holder. Greatest invention of all, the handbrake in a hot hatch. You have to have a handbrake. I mean, can you imagine this car with an electronic handbrake? What's the point? We know why. We love that, and there's a reason for it. Left hand side here, you've got heated front seats up front, lovely. 3 stage as well, so if you don't want to burn your backside, you can put it on number 1. And if you fancy a roasting, get it onto number 3. I don't know why I winked at you then, because you're only a camera. But anyway, you've got your parking you can turn on and off, so you've got your beepers front and rear, so you can turn them on and off. You've also got a reverse rear parking camera. You can turn that on and off, or pull it up whenever you want it. So if you want to look at someone while you're in a traffic queue, you can do that as well. Sounds a bit weird, but yeah, you can do that if you want to. ABS to the right, traction control, turn it on and off. Obviously, if you're out on track in this car, which inevitably you will be, you want that off. But then there are other buttons up here that automatically turn that off anyway. Heated steering wheel as well. Oh, love that in the winter. What a lovely heated steering wheel. Keeps your hands warm. You get the sat-nav all built into this as well. So, yeah, personally, if you've got the wireless Apple Play on, you're going to use Waze or Google Maps, aren't you? So, see no point in that. But there again, if you haven't got a phone with you, or you can use it. Glove box. Let's have a look in the glove box. It's got to have a decent glove box in an i30, hasn't it? Well, it has got a decent glove box. However, look at the Bible of Hyundai. Oh my word, check it out. Now that's what I call an instruction manual. Actual fact, how many pages are there? I mean, that is incredible. It's got to be nearly 800 pages in that book. Hyundai, come on guys, we don't need this. If we're buying this car, we know what we're doing with it anyway, and if we don't, we can go online and get the answers. How do I change a fuse, change a bulb, top up the water? I don't need a book to tell me. Look at all this lovely leather, you know. What you could do is lose this and give us the spare, you know, the space saver in the boot. That would be a much better idea. You'd have all the extra room in there. You don't need this, really. If you do, you can sometimes they're even on here as well. You can just go into the manual actually on the computer. General finish though, pretty much standard i30 to be honest with you, but I love it. I absolutely love this car. I want to get it back out on the road, so let's do that now. Let's get it back out on the road, do a couple more tests with it, show you a little bit more about this and the setup and the N mode and things like that, because I think you're going to enjoy this next segment. What i30N performance you go for, i.e. the manual or the auto, you're going to have some fun with it because it comes with adaptive sports suspension, and at the end of the day this car wouldn't be the same without it. I mean, it allows you to get out and do some B-road blasting, which is what I'm doing today, and thoroughly enjoy yourself. You've got 3 different modes, driving modes on this car. Left hand side of the wheel, you'll see the mode button there. It always starts in normal mode, which is fine. It will come up normal mode in the center of your dashboard there in your cluster, and then to change that into sport mode, just give it one touch. We now go into sport mode, so we've now got a harder suspension, we've got a slightly heavier feel to the steering, you've got that lovely sound of the exhaust now cutting in, which there it goes, and you get a little bit more bang for your buck with your acceleration there. Definitely more throttle response. However, so that's your bit of fun. That's your standard bit of fun that you can just play around with. If you push it once again, notice how suddenly it goes quiet and soft. We're in eco mode, guys, because you've got to have that family element to it. So Hyundai have thought about that and gone, you know what, we need an eco button on this just to make everyone feel like they're saving, you know, a few shekels here and there on their fuel, a bit of economy. So that's what we're getting at the moment. We are actually hitting 26.9 to the gallon. Bearing in mind, you know, this is hooning it around the country lanes. I'm in a 2-litre turbo 4-cylinder petrol engine. You know, that's good. Over 26 to the gallon. I've actually had 35 plus to the gallon when we've been out on a run. I've had it in the adaptive cruise control, set it to 70, and over a period of about an hour we actually got it up to just over 35 to the gallon. That I think is superb. You're not going to be buying one of these cars for its economy, but at the end of the day you need to prove to yourself and to other people that you aren't necessarily just throwing money down the drain on fuel. But there again, it all depends on how you drive this car. If you're going to drive this car like a complete and utter lunatic, then you're only going to get, you know, 15, 20 to the gallon. Whereas if you're going to put it into economy mode and drive it about, you know, as normal, you're going to get a reasonable, you know, MPG comeback on it. Anyway, enough of the boring MPG stuff. Let's start to talk about the other modes that we've got in this car. First up, I've got to mention one thing that I love about this car. You do get the lights that come up when you change gear. So basically, as you accelerate, when you're in a certain mode, which we'll talk about in a minute, you'll get those lovely little lights that come up and tell you when to change gear. And if you really can get out and track in one of these cars, you can take it right up to the red line, and I think you're going to be quite surprised how much power and acceleration this little car provides, and the surety of the grip that it gives you with that adaptive sport suspension as well. Another thing this car benefits from are a couple of timers. You've got timers on this car. You've got to have a timer on a hot hatch, of course you have. So if you go into your main menu and then go into your N mode again, and come up on the right hand side, you'll see performance timer. If you hit that, there are 2 timers. You've got an acceleration timer. Oh yes, you can do anything from 10 miles an hour up to 120 with your timer, which is utterly brilliant. Great bit of fun to play around with that as well. And you've got your lap vibration siren. I love all that. Loving the steering wheel, by the way. It's beautiful. It's so comfortable. It's just perfectly balanced as well. It's the right thickness, everything. I just love it. Anyway, let's quickly talk about M Performance mode. So you've got your timers. Now, M Performance mode, right-hand side, see a checkered flag. That is the button to push when you are going on track or you really want to push this car to its limit. So push that once like that, you'll hear everything change now. Comes up on your TFT screen here, it says standard N Performance mode. Right, so we've got it in standard N Performance mode. Let's get it to the end of the road here. We'll do a nice little right-hand turn where I know the road starts to, oh, listen to that change down as well. Here we go. Now, the only problem in M Performance mode, as you can probably see, is the suspension is rock hard. There is no stability control. Everything is switched off. Guys, brake, let me explain. It's designed for the track. It's not designed for these roads. You'll have no teeth left. You'll end up with the worst migraine from hell. So what they've put on this, the guys at Hyundai, those very clever guys, push again. Now watch. I've still got the sound of the exhaust. You can hear it. I've still got all the parameters set up, except I've turned down the suspension. How did I do that? Quite simply, I went to home mode, went into M mode, and on the right hand top side there's a button that says custom. You just touch it. Now look at the screen there. You've got that screen. Now you can set everything up exactly the way you want it to drive. Now obviously you're going to want it to sound lovely, so you're going to leave your your exhaust sounding really good, but you don't want that suspension absolutely knocking your teeth out. So all you do is tap one back and then it reduces the shock on the suspension. It just softens it up a little bit. But you can leave your stability controllers and all your other bits, in full force, so you're still getting that lovely M Performance mode, which is where I love it. And oh, look at that go. So you're still getting all the fun of that, but at the same time, you're not getting your teeth knocked out. This is an amazing bit of kit, and given the time and the patience, I think you would absolutely fall in love with this car like I have. And having it as a three-way car, keeping everybody happy within the family, but at the same time putting that smile on your face, that's what it's all about. When you buy an i30N Performance, rest assured you're going to get a decent warranty. You get 5 years unlimited mileage warranty with this car. I think that is absolutely superb. And if that wasn't enough, you're also covered if you take it out on track. Hyundai have obviously thought that this car is definitely a track day car, and you need your warranty to be able to cover you on your track day outings as well. I haven't heard of that with any other manufacturer. If you have, leave a comment in the box down below and let me know, because I think that is pretty unique to Hyundai. But I think that's pretty special, having a car that if you're going to go out and do a track day, you're still covered and all the same bits on your standard warranty. Absolutely brilliant. Don't forget, you can also transfer that warranty if you sell the car within the 5-year period. I'll be honest with you, I cannot see why I would want to sell one of these cars within 5 years, because why would you? Unless they brought out another one, something a little bit better, or maybe a few extra bits and pieces, you never know. But it's there anyway, so you can transfer it over to a new owner. You get 5 annual health checks with this car. So over a period of 5 years, every year it can go in and have its health check. That's all included as well. You've got a 12-year anti-perforation warranty. That's your rusty bits and pieces, the bits underneath that you can't see. 12 years. I mean, you're fully covered on that. Even when you've passed it on twice, you're still going to be covered. You've got a 5-year paint warranty as well. That 5-year paint warranty will cover you for any blemishes or bits and pieces. Then you've got roadside assistance, accident assistance. To be honest, Hyundai have pretty much covered you when it comes to buying one of these cars, at least for the first 5 years. Exactly that. So there you have it, guys. The Hyundai i30N Performance. What a car. What a hot hatch. They don't come much better, do they? I have so enjoyed driving this car. And the only way I can sum this up is to give you a true life story. I know it's time for AJ's true life stories. It was a long time ago, but nevertheless, it was a long time ago for real, when I owned a super two-seater sports car that begins with the letter P. And I was loving it. I had a wonderful girlfriend and we were enjoying life together. And then one day she came and told me, she said, I've got some good news. And I went, oh yeah, what's the good news? She went, we're going to have a baby. And I was like, oh. She went, yeah, you're going to have to sell the car. What? And at that point, I suddenly realised the end of my days as a young single man out on the open road with a two-seater sports car was sadly over, until you get to about 55, 60, and then you do it all over again. But that's another story. Where I'm going with this is, at the time, if there had been one of these on the market, I would have been straight down the Hyundai showroom test driving one of these going, I need a family car, but it's got to go like stink and it's got to act like it's a hot hatch and tick all the boxes for me and make me excited, keep me happy. And this would have done the job, if you get the drift, because at the end of the day, it is a hot hatch. It is fantastic to drive, but it's a family car. You're going to get the mother-in-law and the father-in-law, and you're going to get the kids in there, the babies in there, you're going to get all the luggage in there, and you are basically going to end up with everything that you should have had right from the very beginning when you had that beautiful two-seater sports car. What can I say, guys? You've been watching me, AJ, on the Player YouTube channel. I hope you've enjoyed what you've just watched, because I have really enjoyed reviewing the Hyundai i30N performance car. It has been something a little bit special this week. Don't forget, like, subscribe and comment. If you've got a comment, you want to know anything about the car, pop it in the box down below. Quite easy, and one of the team will get back to you in due course. Don't forget, if you can give us a thumbs up, I would really, really appreciate it, because we don't get any extra pay, we don't get a bonus or anything when you click that thumbs up. What we do get is a pat on the back from the boss and the sponsor, say, job well done, AJ, you're getting likes. People like what you're doing. We'll keep you on and let you do more car reviews. So I'd really appreciate it if you get my drift. And don't forget, subscribe, because it's down there. Leave the bell sign unchecked. You know we do more than car reviews. You saw that at the beginning of this video. We do tons of other stuff, and one of it might be of interest to you. And if you haven't left the bell sign unchecked, you won't get a notification, so you'll never know. You might miss out. So leave it unchecked and subscribe. There you go. Right, something for free, something to give you guys for watching me on the Player YouTube channel. It's a 220-page bookazine, and it's called The Player. It's full of guy stuff, and it's completely free of charge. Well, the online version, you can't have the big book. It's 100 UK pounds each copy. You can't really send those out. But the online version, which is exactly the same, is yours, completely free of charge. It's got everything in there that us guys absolutely love, including cars like this, even more expensive cars than this, as well as things like jet skis, motorbikes, there's golf in there, there's food, there's interview, there's everything, guys, everything we love in a magazine called The Player. And it's yours for free. Just simply head over to www.theplayer.co.uk. One sec. It's coming in there now. It's down the bottom there. Leave it up for a few seconds just so you can memorize that. Head up to the top of the page, go to register. Use the click down, register. All you got to do, I know what you're saying, AJ, it's going to take ages to fill in all the... No, there's no forms. No forms. Don't do data capture. Look at me. How old do you think I am? Don't do that stuff. All you got to put in is your name and your email. That's all you need to do. And then you can access that online. 220 pages of everything in there that us guys love. So don't worry about having to put all the details in. I'm going to catch you next week with something different. In the meantime, take it easy. Take care. See you then.